Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. And today I want to talk with you about why you should leave your neighborhood and the place you grew up in, at least for a short period in your life. And I'll share it from experience and from my story. I'll start with just telling you my story. So, I'm from Israel, as I already said, and I lived there for all of my life. And I left there 4 years ago at the age of 23. I was 23 when I left. And I left in order to study music in Europe. That was one of my goals in life, one of my dreams in life. I prepared for that for years. So I practiced hard. I play guitar for a long time now, but I practiced hard for almost half a year to do the exams and do the requirements and whatever. And I got accepted to the school that I wanted to go to. And on one hand, I was happy. And on the other hand, I was sad because everything has a price. And me leaving my country, me leaving my neighborhood, me leaving my hometown where all of my friends are and my family is, meant that I'm gonna leave them as well. I'm not gonna see them as often. They are not like 20 minutes away from where I live. And overall, I'm gonna have to deal with situations without them. And I already talked about it a couple of times in my videos. But when I arrived here, it was a little bit like a vacation. I still didn't digest the idea of me living here and needing to live here. I remember I landed and I immediately bought food and whatever and walked around with my suitcase. But at one point I was already 100 euros down in like 1 hour or whatever. And I was like, oh shit, I have to live here. I have to start thinking for myself economically, health wise, and everything else. And it took a while, but I got some friends from school. I acquired new friends and I acquired new social circles. And I also learned to love being by myself. So let's dive into it for a second. What did I learn from leaving my hometown? So I think the most important thing I learned was to value my time by myself, as I already said. Value the time by myself. Who am I when I don't have my family around me to help, to support? Who am I when I don't have my friends around me to help, to support? Who am I in this world when I'm by myself, totally by myself? And this is a question that I think that the answer to it has no value, in the sense that the value is so high to the point where there is no value to this question. And I really think that this is an answer that each one of us should discover for themselves. And this is the first reason I would encourage you and recommend you that if you are in a situation where you are contemplating whether you want to leave your neighborhood, it can be also a different city, it doesn't have to be a different country or whatever, but leaving the place that you knew your whole life in order to start anew. So this is the first reason I would recommend, because you don't gonna have any other choice but learning to take care of yourself. And eventually you're gonna discover who are you when you're by yourself and when there is no one else around you. And the second thing I would say that I learned is I met so many people, so many people with so many different worldviews, to the good and the bad, what's good and what's bad. But you learn about so many angles and so many cultures and so many things that I would never in my life would know, meet, and discover about certain things if I wouldn't leave my country. I met here in Europe, I met so many people from almost everywhere, besides, I think, besides the United States, maybe, and like Canada or something like that. I think I literally met at least one person from each other continent and a lot of other countries. So this is the second thing that I would recommend you to consider. You're going to meet so many people. The world is so big. And again, it goes down to, and I already talked about it in one of my videos, but you might just meet the right person for you, for example, like as in a relationship, that you would never have met if you never left. Or you could meet your new friend group, which is also something really valuable that you would never get if you would never leave the place you're so used to. So this is another thing and another reason I would recommend you to take the step that you want to take. And the third thing I would say that I got is a lot of opportunities. Like business opportunities, friendship opportunities, meeting certain people, seeing a lot of new places. This is what I call opportunities to broaden my worldview. And again, this is something you wouldn't get if you stay in the same place that you are. I get to go to so many events, music events, because I'm in the music business, but to music events, meeting some executives, some important people. And I get to go to so many venues. I had a couple of shows in crazy venues in different places around Europe, which again, from the Middle East, to go to Europe and do a tour will cost me so much more than if I'm already in Europe. And the new opportunities that are here. There is a value, in my opinion, to where you are. Depends on what you want to do. In today's world, technology makes it easier, of course, and it makes the world smaller. But nothing beats a one-on-one conversation. Nothing beats you shaking someone else's hand and telling them, nice to meet you. This is me. They see you right away, First impression. Nothing beats that, in my opinion. And of course, again, social media makes the world smaller, but I think there is a value to that. If you want to be a chef, you might want to find yourself at one point in Europe somewhere, right? Like France or something, I think, where the culinary world is at its peak. If you're a musician, you might want to find yourself maybe in London, Europe somewhere, or LA. Depends which music do you make. Maybe you make country music, so you want to go to Nashville or something. But in my opinion, the place you are a lot of the times determine your value, as hard as it seems. But not in every place you would be valued the same. So this is another reason why I recommend you to take that step, And the fourth thing I can think of is you have no choice but being more responsible, and being more mature, in my opinion. Because once you detach yourself emotionally and physically from your parents' nest, then this is where you start growing up, and growing more maturely, because you absorb everything by yourself. And as I already said in the beginning, you don't have that someone who will tap on your shoulders and tell you that everything is okay, or everything is not okay, or push you to do something or not push you to do something. It is all in your hands. So really your destiny is in your hands when you're by yourself. And then you have no choice but to choose what's right for you, And another thing I can think of is freedom. Suddenly when I got here, I had so much freedom, mental freedom, physical freedom. Just from managing my own time to the fullest. If I don't want to do anything, I'm not going to do anything. And I don't need to be in a certain place in a certain hour. And again, you might look at it as a disadvantage, which is also a disadvantage, because let's say I'm supposed to meet my friends for a dinner or for lunch or whatever. Now I don't have that. The whole schedule is for myself. But again, I would like sometimes to go and sit down with my friends, sit down with my parents, and I cannot. So this is also a disadvantage. But I think overall, if you do it for a while, not for 20 years, 30 years, but just do it for 1, 2, 3 years, I think you're gonna learn so much about yourself and about who you are in this world and who you are in this life from your perspective. Because once you go out from the place you were born and once you go out from your neighborhood, you can see things from a bird's view. You can see everything from above. And then you can also value and analyze different relationships that you had, like I had with my friends, whether they were good, whether they were bad. You have new relationships, you compare between the two. How is this relationship that I have now? How was the old relationship with my friends, with my ex-girlfriend, with my current girlfriend, whatever. But once you meet and absorb all of those cultures and all of those people from all of those places, then you can really take a bird's view on your old life and really think for yourself what's good for you and what's better for you. But this is something you could never know if you would never try. And yeah, so I talked about the positive stuff in this video, and maybe the next video I'm going to talk about the disadvantages, because there are a lot as well, of course, and there are also a lot of advantages, but this is just what came up to my mind now. So if you're not subscribed yet, please do, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.